in this episode of the Alpha X podcast.
If I'm talking about growth from a male's perspective, first of all, you can't force someone to grow. If they don't have a growth mindset, they're not going to grow. Then, if you are honest with them and truthful with them, they will observe what's going on with you, and it is their job to work on their ego to grow. All your job is to give them space to do that. Men are not men if they are harmless. Like if they are harmless, they're not men. They're not good men.
Improve your health. Optimize your nutrition. Perform at your peak level. Increase your lifespan. Build a powerful mindset. This is Jay Parekh, and welcome to the Alpha X podcast. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, wherever you're listening in from. Welcome to the Alpha X podcast. Now, guys, it's been 6 months and the podcast has been on a bit of a hiatus. It's always been on my mind, though. I mean, honestly speaking, I've been wanting to get back to it for a long time now. But I'm back and I'm really happy to be back. In fact, the episode today comes from a recording that I had done with Ruchi Hirani, who is a couples clarity coach, and she works with young couples, helps them fall in love again and again and again and all over again. Go out and check out her work. Her website is ruchihirani.com. And she's also an author of a book called Smile Please You're Married. You can check that out on Amazon as well. So she is really cool. And today, the episode, we go into a discussion about men, about women, about relationship dynamics. And I talk a little bit about my history, my work as well, and my perspective that I bring to relationships, and Ruchi brings her own perspective, and together we had, I think, a really interesting sort of interaction. And I think it's going to add a lot of value for you, especially if you're in a relationship right now, or if you're looking to be in a relationship right now, you're looking for growth in that particular area of your life, especially as men, or even as women for that matter. You can actually look at a relationship, look at the conflicts, the challenges that you face in a relationship, and actually use that for your own growth, which will help you develop a stronger relationship in the long term. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this episode. Really excited for this. It's going to be a great one. Make sure you're there till the end, and I'll see you guys soon.
Ruchi, growing up, I was always somebody, who was bullied in school. I was always somebody who was weak and small, and I've had a hard time when I was young. I've always used to fall sick very often. Always made fun of, and all of these things. And it's been such a interesting journey for me because I've not had very many male role models growing up, and I think that's the situation for a lot of men nowadays. There is a lack of good male role models, something that our forefathers actually had, because our fathers had, or our grandfathers for that matter, had people, military men, and people who had seen hard times, people who had maybe seen the struggle for independence, had done something. While, nowadays it's more like a rat race. Everybody's sort of in a rat race to make more money and things like that. So
absolutely,
a lot of fathers are absent, unfortunately. They're there, they're physically there, but they're mentally absent. They're spiritually absent. Maybe even physically absent if they're traveling, and also, that was also to an extent my story. And I had a lack of male role models growing up, so I had to figure this out by myself. and I had a journey where I had to actually go out and search for male models. It could be uh, mentors in my martial arts, or it could be mentors that I found in business. My boss for that matter, or people that I was learning from. Could even be people that I have never met, people on YouTube, people's books that I've read. So anyway, I had to figure this out by myself, and I had to work on myself physically to make myself stronger. And when I started doing that, it started off as something to, I didn't want to be weak anymore. I didn't want to be bullied anymore, and I also wanted to be attractive. So that's how it started off. But
Right.
what ended up happening is I realized that even when it comes to the physicality of it, it's more of a mental game.
Right.
It's more
Yes.
of a mental game. So it
Right.
starts with the right mindset.
Right.
And as you develop that mindset, the body becomes a part of that.
Absolutely true.
And then when you realize, as I have grown older, I have realized that the foundation of it all is your spirituality. So
Right.
that's why I say that I help men become physically, mentally, and spiritually strong. Because
Right.
spirituality is your foundation, it's what you believe in, and then you have your mindset, and then you have your body.
Right.
And
Right.
all this together is what makes a man, in my opinion.
Right.
So I hope
So
that answers
saying
your
that,
question.
yes, so definitely it does. So saying that, as I understand your journey, you had that, you had an understanding, you had a consciousness that what you were at and what you wanted in life. But for all the men out there, how does a man know the actual state of his emotional, mental, or spiritual? How do you find that state he is into currently? Is there any test or is there any self-judgment practice that one can follow?
So that's an interesting question. There are a lot of tools out there. When I work with people, as I'm sure you do as well, there are certain tools that we use to help people gain awareness about that. But something as simple as sitting down and just writing down these things, all the questions that you just asked, right? What is it that I want? Why am I here? Ultimately, I am getting up, going to work, doing my thing, coming back, paying my bills, watching my television, going to sleep. That's my routine. Why am I doing it? Is it just to pay the
Right.
bills?
Right.
I think that question is something which, if somebody were to ask, it's a great starting point. It's a great springboard. And then how do you figure out where you are physically? How do you figure out where you gotta? I mean, people know. Let's be honest. If you're being honest with
Physically,
yourself, you know what
physically
kind of
they would,
physically.
but what about the spiritual, mental, all that? I think people don't. We are not that aware. We are not in that awareness state.
Well, let me show you how. Okay.
Right.
So take a self audit. Do you have anxiety? There's a reason why it's there. Do you feel anxious? Do you feel like things are not making sense? Do you feel a lack of energy even though you are maybe exercising and working out? Like I remember when I was in my corporate career, I loved my my corporate job was a decent job, it's a good job, but and to an extent it excited me for a few years, but then eventually that died off because I knew that doing that job was not spiritually right for me. It wasn't what I really wanted to do. It wasn't my purpose.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
these, our bodies, our emotions have a way of letting us know. So if there's something wrong, if something feels wrong, something's probably wrong. That's a good indication. Actually
Right.
feeling what's going on inside your body.
The next question that comes in my mind is how can a man improve his mental health? Only specifically.
Okay. So I wanna actually answer this in a little different way than I normally would.
I want to answer this from a context of a relationship.
Perfect. That would be
You're a couples
amazing.
clarity coach, right? Yeah.
Amazing.
So, and I'm talking about men.
Hmm.
Okay. And I think one of the things that when it comes to men's mental health, what are we talking about here? We're talking about their ability to cope up, right? Their
Right.
ability to cope up with adversity, and we're talking about their ability to be able to move into the world with a kind of it's not perspective, but it's with a zeal, it's with a direction, it's with like a fire, to be able to do what they want to do in life without anything holding them back. I think
Right.
that's what I think of when I think of mental toughness.
Right.
So when it comes to the perspective of relationships, right? When it comes to being in a relationship with a woman, I personally think so. A lot of men have this thing that they want to change the woman. Like why does she not pay enough attention, or maybe why does she so clingy, or why does she get angry? Why does she nag me? And these kind of things.
Right.
you know.
Right.
And one of the things that I have understood and I have realized that women are a lot more attuned to the the little signals that we give off. Let's call it energies, for lack of a better word. Women are
Okay.
way more attuned energetically than men. Men have a very logical brain, but emotionally, when it comes to energy, women have a stronger attunement, and they can
Right.
pick things very quickly. So when
Right.
it comes to your weakness as a man, okay, if you pay attention to your woman, to know who you are, let's say in a relationship with, or even it could be your female friends, right? They are going to challenge you exactly at that point where you are weak.
Absolutely.
So let's say if your woman is telling you, is maybe talking to you about becoming financially secure, and that pinches you,
that means you are
somewhere
financially
she's right.
Right.
Yeah,
She's
somewhere
right.
she's right.
Yeah.
Somewhere she's right. Now you have two options as a man. And mental toughness comes from this decision,
Right.
right? Either the decision could be to reject it. You don't know what you're talking about, and that's where the fights come in. And at an extreme level, you dump that person and you move on, and you
Right.
stay in your comfort zone because
Right.
it's so uncomfortable, right? You stay in that
Right.
comfort zone, or you go the other way. You actually kind of see, what is she talking about? Why
Right.
is she upset? You don't get, you're not afraid of that energy, of that, let's call it her dark energy. Again, I'm using the
Right.
word energy. I see Prachit over here. Prachit, you're way too young
Yeah.
to be in this discussion, my friend. Anyway, guys.
Even I saw it.
Prachit is the youngest coach that I know. He's 13 or 14
Yeah.
years old. He's the youngest
13
coach
years
that I
old,
know.
and he coaches friends, and he has amazing energy and aura. You should follow him, guys. So Prajit is laughing, so he knows he's on a wrong call.
Yeah, but he's about to have his mind blown. Anyway, so what is really
So
important, I think, and
you don't call it dark energy, just call it energy, because I think dark energy is something really very apart. That's what I feel.
So,
Dark energy of a woman is
why
totally different.
why I was thinking of, I didn't, like I said, the energy also is not the right word for it,
Right,
It could be
right.
dark energy, it could be some other word. It's just easy to explain. But the way I see it is, the
I
things
think
like
what
anger.
you mean is intuitiveness, intuitions that they catch
No,
off
it's
things.
not. It's not the intuition. No. I'm not referring to intuition. I'm talking about sometimes you get irritated, right? With
Right.
Jeet, why are you doing this? And you're giving him a hard time. You're giving him a
Right.
hard time,
right? Like,
Right.
why are you? And you know, there are two choices a man has. Either you can face it. You know, see, a man typically, see that there are two types of men. All right. One type of man is the pleaser, like he will do anything to make you like him,
Right.
right? And then you have the stereotypical bad boy who
Right.
is compensating in the other direction, right?
Absolutely.
Both men are not being true to themselves. They are compensating in one way or the other. One by being too nice, and one by just being a
Brat.
expletive, whichever expletive you want to give. Since Pratchett is on this call is now PG-13. So, but you know what I mean. So it's either one way or the other, right?
Okay.
And actually, where the man needs to be is he needs to be centered in himself, who he really is, right? And he needs to see why is my woman behaving this way? What's going on? And it's not a mental thing. It is an energetic thing. It's a feeling. Be with her in that feeling and see. You will realize where you are lacking. And
Right.
then you can start working on that. So for example, like I told you, if it's finance, right, that's where you need to work. If you are not patient, that's where you need to work. If she's unhappy with you being, maybe you're too much in a rush. Let's say you're too much in a rush,
Right.
and she's like, slow down. You need to be more patient. That's an area and that's also a reflection of how you deal with the world. So if you're impatient,
Right.
let's say with your woman, you're impatient also in the world.
Right. Right. Agreed.
If you cannot give financial security to your woman, then you can also, when it comes to going out there and providing and providing for a cause that's bigger than you, you won't be able to do it.
You will not do it. Right. Absolutely true. And
I hope that
I'm
makes sense.
sorry to interrupt. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But I will want to take this question over here. Indian Youth 1947 wants to ask how to stop overthinking. Please reply on that. How do you stop overthinking? So I think what
this
you
is something
said
I struggle
very, yeah, very much connects here.
Go ahead.
Please continue.
Yeah.
No, you just said
No,
something
so
about the first question, which very much connects to this question as well.
Yeah. So actually, the what I said was that when you get into an argument or your woman is upset with you, be with her in that zone. Be
Yes,
with her.
absolutely.
And what I mean by be with her is not just listen and kind of हाँ जो
Right.
बोल रही है बोलने दो and then let it go out. But
Right.
feel what she's saying. Try to
Right.
be present and actually listen to what's going on. Right?
Right.
Because the answer to what you need to do is there, not inside
Right.
your head.
Right.
It's actually outside. So the question, to answer your question, how do you stop overthinking, Indian youth? And even if you're single, this will work for you. Is
Yes.
change your focus from being internal to being
Being
external.
absolutely.
So don't think about what you need in this point in time. Think about what she needs. Or for that matter, when you're interacting with the world in general, what does the world need? What does your family need? What do your friends need? What does your boss need? It's the same. Like I was reading the same book earlier today, The Way of the Superior Man. And one thing that he says that I feel is really, really powerful is that, you get attracted to the kind of woman which for you represents, the repressed parts of you, which is your feminine energy. So for a man, we have masculine and feminine energy. Both men and women have that, right?
Right.
And because society teaches us to repress our feminine energy, and for women, it teaches us to repress the masculine energy in most cases, right?
Right.
So, in what we get attracted to is typically our representations of our feminine energy, which
Right.
I know I'm getting a little technical over here, but in Jungian psychology, that's referred to as the anima.
All right.
Okay, so now this repressed feminine energy is also how you deal with that, is also how you deal with the world.
Right. Absolutely.
So if you're outwardly paying attention to what's going on in the world, how you can make a influence there, how you can impact there, how you can do good things over here, you will apply that same kind of psychology or mindset also with women. And that is what a woman, correct me if I'm wrong, but I personally feel that basically what women want is to be heard, like really be listened to, which most men don't do, because most people nowadays, and not just men, I think, but they just wait for their turn to talk instead of listening.
Right.
You know?
And yes,
So
exactly
in
this
short,
what happens.
Yeah. So in short, Indian youth, like, don't wait for your turn to talk. Actually, listen. The right things to say will actually come up to you then, and you won't be so stuck up in your head.
Yeah, and overthinking also comes because you do not talk at the first place. Because you're so much into yourself, you do not communicate, you don't know what's actually the matter. So you might be thinking hundred of things which not might be true at the first place itself. So I think that to stop overthinking, one of the things you can do is actually communicate, and then the things would be pretty sorted there and then. Okay, so this is not a kind of dating session, or we are not going to give dating tips. So I don't know, we can help you over there, youth or not. But definitely,
I'll quickly give him one line. I'll quickly give him one word.
No, don't
I'll tell, and this
Guru.
works, and this works. Just say hi. That's it. Just say hi and then listen what she's saying, and then respond. Anyway, there's another question that's over here. So Nivedita asks, what about the big male ego?
Whereas, okay, I must have happy world around. That's the lady, Nivedita. Okay, yes. So what about the big male ego? I think that's a big point, very important question, and a lot of female friends of mine have also asked this question, that उनको approach ही नहीं कर पाते हैं because उनका ego आड़े आता है. So I think that's a big topic, and you need to have an answer for that, Jay.
So my answer for that, honestly, I think it's not an easy answer, but it's a fact. Okay, the male, it's the guy's job. It's not your job. You know, I don't think that you need to change anything about who you are or what you are. Keep being you. Don't adjust. Don't change. Nothing. Because personally, from my perspective, I'm talking about growth. You know, I know that you help couples, you know, get better and compromise. But if I'm talking about growth from a male's perspective, first of all, you can't force someone to grow. If they don't have a growth mindset, they're not going to grow. Right?
Absolutely.
So very important that they have a growth mindset. Now, if they have a growth mindset, then I personally feel that they will observe, and they will, if you are honest with them and truthful with them, they will observe what's going on with you, and it is their job to work on their ego to grow. All your job is to give them space to do that. Let them do that.
Right.
And this works both ways, I think, with men and with women.
Right. It does.
From a point of view of a woman, if there's something that you can do, because obviously, I mean, I don't think that I can comment on that, but if something you want to add to that and help Nivedita out, go for it. From my point of view, I think keep being yourself and give him space to grow. That's it.
There's one more question that she's asking, Nivedita. Why are men intimidated by strong and intelligent women? I think as a
Because
man perspective, they're weak. Exactly.
They're weak.
Exactly.
That's it. If you're weak, you're going to be intimidated by someone who's stronger.
Stronger than you. And I think not only women, they'll be having issues with the stronger men also, because they are weak by
100%.
themselves.
But with a man, they have an excuse. He's another man.
Right.
So it's you know, you can fool yourself. It's another man. You know, and you can't be like, you know, you can't be the strongest man ever. Like, there are very few men who have that level of pathology. You know, it would have to be a pathology to want to be the strongest man ever. There's always going to be someone stronger, somebody richer, someone more successful, someone more famous, someone better looking, someone taller. Always someone with a better body. Always. Right? But when it comes to a woman, because men are stronger than women physically, and if they feel threatened, that's one way that they know they can keep their power.
Right.
Not the right thing to do. That's a weak man, by the way. Because I'll tell you one thing. this is a little bit of a segue, Ruchi, but I think it's important to mention to
Yes,
all men
please go on.
who are listening in into this call. Yeah. And which is that the whole nice guy syndrome. Okay. So, in my opinion, okay, men are not men if they are harmless. Like if they are harmless, they're not men. They're not good men. Good men
harmless
are
to who?
dangerous men
Okay.
to anybody.
Okay.
Good men are
Okay.
dangerous men
Hmm.
who make a choice to be good. If you're harmless and you're good, what's the point? There's no virtue there. The virtue
Right.
lies in being able to do dangerous things, but yet making a choice not to. If you're a
Right.
lion, but you choose not to harm, and in fact you choose to care and be compassionate, I personally think that that's a much more virtuous state than if you are, let's say, a squirrel or a rabbit who's cute and cuddly and but unable to harm.
Right.
No, there's no respecting that. So
Right.
when you're a rabbit and you come up against a lioness, how is the rabbit going to feel?
Worthless.
And the rabbit, now imagine if the rabbit became a huge, like imagine it became 20 times its size.
Right.
Will the rabbit be able to handle that power, that strength?
No,
No,
I
they will
don't
not have the
think so.
respect
No.
for it.
Right. It's just overgrown bunny. That's it.
So my point being that it's when you are dangerous and yet
And
you
you
make the
still-
choice to do the right thing, to be compassionate, that is like a very attractive quality in a man. I personally feel like that's the kind of men that I also admire and I would like to be like, and I
Right.
personally also got the feedback that that's the kind of thing that is attractive from the people
Yeah,
that
and
I've
I
spoken
think
to,
that's
women
a
that I've spoken.
this is an amazing insight that I have got, and I'm definitely sure that all of you will agree that this guy is awesome and the session is going so good. So yes, I think we have a lot of audience who's enjoying whatever you're telling us, and there's a different insight, and we are getting to know the man from the man himself. So more questions. I will move on to the very next question. Is how do you obviously have coached so many men with in this period. How do you get a man to connect to his spiritual self, Jay? How do you do that? Is there kind of exercise or is there a feeling? What is it? How do you induce that feeling in him?
Okay, so spirituality, I think, is different for different men, right? I think some people have a religious take to it. Some people, it's more about, for me, for especially, it's more about understanding the present moment, like exercising my ability to connect with the present moment. That's the way I look at it.
Okay.
And that helps me get closer to who I really am. So there's a guy called Eckhart Tolle. Okay, and he has some very beautiful work that everybody should check out, not just men, but everybody should check out. And what he talks about is being present to the moment. And the way he talks about it is something that has made a lot of sense and that's actually helped me in my meditation practices. Okay. Now, let's say you're meditating, right? And you have your
Right.
thoughts going on in your mind. What is happening? What
Right.
is happening? Now, when you try to get spiritual, for me, spirituality is about getting connected to the entity that is observing the thinker. Exactly. Azusha just mentioned the name of the book, The Power of Now.
The
That's
Power
the
of
book
Now.
where Eckhart Tolle talks about this. Exactly this. Yep. Yep. So when you are connected or you are watching your own thoughts, watching the world from the point of view of the observer. Some people call it the observer. Some people call it the father. Some people call it the one. Some people call it, the energy, the universe, whatever.
Right.
But it is that connection that, people are talking about when they're talking about spirituality. At least for me, that's what it is. So you could be, you could reach that state through religion. You could reach that state through meditation, Buddhism, whatever it is. And I personally feel that state is reached not by being some kind of a monk, being somewhere in a cave and meditating and all that. But it's about observing that throughout your life. And Ruchi, here's the part that's really important. Observing that with your partner.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right, Jay.
So when I was talking about really being with her when she's upset or when she's testing you during a hard time, right? Instead of going like, oh, why is she nagging me? Oh, why is she like being annoying? Why does she tell me to take out the trash? Why is she telling me to, why is she telling me not to talk to her? Be with her and see what's actually going on in her mind, because what she's saying is might be very different from what she's feeling.
Actually, I do the same. I practice the same thing with every couple client of mine. I always say that the things that are being told are the reaction to the actual problem that lies within, which is unspeakable. You need to have a deeper discussion of what is the actual problem. There are so many things that are incomplete within, and we are not able to talk about it. And the reactions we give to the some petty issues, like towel, गीला towel bed पे रख दिया. That's not the actual problem. Maybe something else is bothering her, related to finance, related to intimacy, related to emotional thing, and that is the reaction coming through a different mode. So I think this is absolutely true of being there with your women and knowing what's going on. And I think I would suggest the same thing for the females as well. Be with your man. Just don't judge him that इसका तो आदत है, ये तो बोलते ही रहता है. Don't do that, girls. You need to be there for your man as well. So I think we are having so many questions, we are having so many comments, and I have so many questions from my friends as well that we are going to run out of time. So without wasting, let me move to the next question, Jay. I wanted to...
Always was a problem with us. We always run out of time.
It's absolutely true. So one of my friend wanted to know that can a man be achieve all the mental, physical and spiritual strength by just being at home, because he has his office and then he has to look for his family, then he doesn't have time to go to gym or yoga centers. So can one achieve all this state being at home?
Yeah, of course. I mean, so are you talking about physical, mental, spiritual, right?
Yes, everything. So does he need to go to 3 different centers?
No, not at all. I'll give you a quick hack. Okay, a quick hack to do all 3 things. Okay. So number 1, let's start with the physical. Okay. You know this, right? I tell people it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're doing something.
Yes.
Right. So if he doesn't have time to go to the gym, well, anyway, no gyms are open right now, but let's say he doesn't have time to, work out 1 hour a day, work out half an hour a day. If you don't have time to do that, work out for 15 minutes a day. If you don't have time to do that, work out for 5 minutes. If you don't have time to do that, do it for 1 minute. I don't care. Just do something, So I've recently bought a kettlebell. A kettlebell is one of those, like I don't know. I think you guys must be knowing what a kettlebell is, right?
Yes.
It's such a beautiful tool. In between my work calls, I'll just pick it up and I'll do one exercise for maybe, 1 minute with it. Trust me, it makes a difference. If I do that 10 times a day, in between, in breaks, in between the calls that I'm making or the things I'm writing or, calls like this, I have taken care of the physical part of my, my growth. And at least I'm maintaining, if nothing else.
Right.
So that's one quick hack, right? When it comes to your mental, your mental health or your mental growth, you know what? If you're so busy, I think just keeping on track with everything is going to be a mental task. Just make sure that you're doing it with the right mindset. Do you have clarity? Are you on a treadmill? Are you just going somewhere without going are you like running without actually getting anywhere?
Right.
Ask yourself this question.
Right.
And if that is the case, then you need to stop and figure things out. But as long as your mindset is right, you know, you actually won't even have this question in the first place, because you'll have all of these things figured out.
Figured out, right?
So work on
Absolutely.
the mindset. Make sure that you have clarity about what it is that you're doing. And if you don't have clarity, get in touch with Ruchi or get in touch with me. We'll help you figure that out.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's one thing for the mind. And as far as spirituality is concerned, that's actually the easiest and the toughest.
Yes.
Okay? In my opinion, if I do everything being present, that's spirituality for me. That would be an achievement for me. To live a day being 100% present, oh my God, that's an achievement. That's like nirvana.
Right.
You know, not being in my head even for a second.
Right.
I don't know. I can't do it. So that's the easiest thing. So it's not time. Time is an excuse.
Right.
You know, anybody that tells you that I don't have time to be fit, or I don't have time to work on my mindset, or I don't have time to improve myself, or, you know, get connected with my spirituality, that's nonsense. It's never that. It's just the fact that there is a comfort zone that we like to remain in. It's very comfortable. It's comfortable. You know, it's like being snuggled up in bed. It's comfortable. So you got to get out of bed, though. You got to live your life, because you got only one life, guys.
Exactly.
Only one life. And if you don't live it right, it's not gonna, it's gonna go. And then what? Then what are you gonna do? Then you're gonna be like, you know what? I did everything and nothing really happened, and I lived a mediocre life, and I had a mediocre relationship, I had a mediocre career, and I died. That's it.
Right. Cool. So I hope he is there listening to your answer, and you've directly got your answer. So if you have anything you want to add, please drop the comment. I move to the next and a very, very important question, Jay. Except for being there, what is that a man really wants from a woman? Do you remember you asking me this question, that what does women really want? I think now I will have to reverse and ask you, what do you guys actually want from a woman?
Okay. That's an interesting question. Okay. What do we want from... you know, I think one of the main things that I think men want from women is, we actually have a very underdeveloped communication skill, right?
Okay.
So we don't understand non-verbal communication the way you guys do. You guys have been doing it since childhood, and you know, boys communicate in a very different way, girls communicate in a very different way, and you know, you guys have been very used to understanding the little non-verbal communications between y'all, when you guys need support, when you guys don't, and you guys understand that about each other. A lot of men don't get that. We have no idea. No idea. So I think one of the things that would really help a man out is if, you know, the woman understands that if she's not getting the kind of reaction that she wants, maybe she can ask herself the question, has she been clear enough about what she wants or not?
Right.
You know, has he understood? Has he understood
Right.
what she wants or not? Has he understood or not? Because most of the time, if your man is not giving you what he wants, he doesn't understand it.
Absolutely.
Because we're kind of stupid. We're kind of, you know, like, yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I think also men require a lot of patience, which female sometimes miss out on. We become too rushy. We become too, you know, we want things like quick. I think a little patience and patience, right, is what I think a man, you should give your man. A little more understanding, patience. That is, I think, another hack. Cool. Moving on to that, this becomes really interesting, because even when you were talking, at the back of the mind, I'm thinking about Jeet and, Jeet bhi aise hi react, that. So this is making me enjoy the conversation even more. Oh, by the way, are you in a relationship or not? And is your girlfriend with us on this live call or not?
We're not making this about my personal life. So swiftly moving on.
No, you are behaving like one of the celebrities, not to answer about that. All right. So the next question comes from, again, how did I cover that? I have actually so many questions that I've written it down for me so that I don't miss out on any questions. Okay. How can man lead a relationship without the lady knowing about it? So if you don't understand, I can reframe it. So how can the man lead a relationship and not let the female feel about it that, okay, you are not a leader and I am the leader.
Okay.
So how can he do that?
So, okay. So I think one of the things that men need to understand is that women like leaders. They do.
They do.
And a lot of men, especially the people pleasers in the house, we're guilty, and I've been there myself. We're guilty of, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want this? Tell me what you want now. And it is so annoying. Like, make up your mind. What do you want to do? Like, even when it's going out for a date, like, what do you want to eat? Why don't you decide? Where do you want to go? And one thing that men need to understand is that women like leaders. However, women also want, in my opinion, women also want to be heard, right? So
Absolutely.
It goes back to what I said before. Like, she might not, we need to cultivate our ability to communicate in a non-verbal manner as men. And we need to also be present and listening. I think being present is a hack to be able to cultivate that non-verbal communication, right? So if you're present, we can get out of our own heads and we can hack, the non-verbal communication, because we can pay attention to it then, right? So when we start doing that and paying attention to what the woman wants, then we can take charge and do what she wants.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think this makes complete sense, but I was busy reading the comment that just came from Shirley that women want likes leaders, or the Indian mindset was to dominate women and to make them submissive. But it's just talking progressive.
Do you want to add something to that from a woman's perspective?
Yes, absolutely. That is what I was adding. So Jay is talking progressive. See, there are relationships which are abusive. There are relationships where man is absolutely dominant and is not at all caring for the women. And also there are relationships where women are dominant and are physically abusing their husbands. So there are situations everywhere. But what Jay spoke about, the growth mindset at the very, very first thing in the call, that here we are talking about improvising relationship, and it is only possible if you have a growth mindset. So definitely there are different mindsets, but things can be better if one wants to work upon it. And this is the way how it works, that you be the leader, you lead the relationship, but also be there in the moment to hear what your woman wants and then perform accordingly. And I'm sure that is a hack to win the woman's heart. What do you say?
So, what is a leader, right? Does a leader do what he wants to do, regardless of who he is leading? Or does a leader keep in the mind the interest of the group and then accordingly make decisions? Because if you're talking about a leader who does what he wants to do regardless of the interest of a group, that's not a leader. That's a tyrant. Right? That's
absolutely.
A tyrant. A leader takes action based on what the group wants.
I think a lot of happy world around. There are men who nowadays everything is possible. So I think she's your friend. What's her name? I forgot. What's her name? Natasha.
Nivedita.
No. Nivedita, you can ask Jay. There are so many men client he is dealing with right now, and he's helping so many men out there to change their entire perspective. So yes, men do want to change, because everybody wants to live a happy, a peaceful life, as we just have one life to live. And that is what we coaches are here for. Jay works on men, I work upon relationships. And I think when a relationship is sorted, it can actually make or break you in your life. So that's our mission, guys. So people definitely wants to change. Okay, am I missing? Why don't we develop a mindset of partnership rather than ownership or leadership? Do you want to answer that, Jay? Do you want me to ask you the question? Can you read it?
Yeah, what is the question again? No, just tell me the question again.
Why don't we develop a mindset of partnership rather than the ownership or leadership?
Absolutely. That's a beautiful question. And when I talk about the man taking the leadership role, is it 100% of the time, first of all, number one. Because practically that's just not how it works. Okay.
Right.
But on the other hand, it is a role of partnership and it is a 50-50 relationship. However, the 50-50 doesn't come from a point of view of we do everything 50-50.
No, it doesn't work like that.
The man is not going to give birth to half of the child. It's just not going to happen.
Absolutely.
That's the power, the gift that the woman has. There is absolutely no way that the man can be 50-50 over there.
Right.
So, I was talking about this earlier. Men and women have a combination of masculine and feminine energy. All men and women have a combination of it. Most men have more masculine energy and a lesser amount of feminine energy, and it's the other way around for women. Right? And we bring this polarity into the relationship. I'm talking about the typical relationship. Now, there could be a woman with more masculine energy attracted to a feminine, and a man who's dominated by feminine energy. And that's perfectly fine too. And the relationship dynamics will be different over there. But the point is that depending upon the energy that you're bringing into the relationship, the value that you bring into the relationship will also change, in my opinion. Again, I like to think of this from a point of view of self-development. So when I'm talking, I'm not talking so much from a point of view of relationship, but whatever dynamic that you have, if you are more masculine, so you have that fiery, I got to get this done. Like masculine energy is penetrative.
Go getting.
They want to attack. Go getting. Yeah, they want to get it done. Doesn't mean women don't have that. They have that as well. Right? A woman is capable of being assertive as well. But that energy, if you are a man and you are likely to have more of that energy, or more, let's say statistically speaking, more men have that energy. Right? That man would do better with a woman who is stronger in feminine energy. What does that mean? A feminine energy is more in touch with herself, more in touch with her emotions, more in touch with her environment, more in touch with the emotions of the man. And she has a calming effect. She has the effect of soothing and nourishing. I'm using the word she, but it could be a man also who is predominantly feminine, who could also bring these traits into the relationship.
Right.
So my point is that it is a 50-50 partnership, but you're bringing two different 50-50s, if you know what I mean. You're bringing different things into the relationship. So it's equal.
Both has a different angle of contribution.
It's a different side of contribution, different angle of contribution. I think that's a good way of understanding. I hope that answers that question.
Absolutely. Yes, we are talking about partnership being equal in the relationship. We want that both of them should equally support each other to grow. And that is the reason we are making men more responsible and take charge of their ownership of their actions. And that is what exactly Jay does to all the men client he is into. You should definitely follow him. Now, the next question is from a friend. He's not a client, from a friend, Jay. So he is like that my wife tells me that I want you to be a man who is strong for the whole world. But when you come to me, I want you to be emotional, understanding, soft, mushy, romantic. So how should he deal with such women attitude that his wife has?
We should listen to her.
No, because he's asking her demands are switch in personalities. So someday, being strong for the world and being mushy is like a two different personality. And the switch is not always easily, done by men. Men needs time.
So is your friend here? Is he watching?
I can't.
By any chance?
I can't see whoever is there. But
you
I
could
think
show
he
him
was
this
going
later.
to be
You
there.
could. Okay, so you could show him this later on. But this is exactly what I was talking about before, Ruchi, which is that a woman has a very good sense of weakness that a man has.
Absolutely.
Your friend is not flexible. That's his weakness.
is not flexible. I think
And if he is not
lot of
flexible,
uh-huh.
if
Go
he is
on,
not
please.
flexible, so what happens? What happens to something that's not flexible when it comes
will
under
break.
stress?
It will break. But it's very
So if he
stressful
is
for
more
him to
flexible
handle.
with her,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's gonna be stressful. It is gonna be stressful. But what he's doing is he's resisting.
Hmm.
He's being stiff.
Hmm.
If he's flexible, he will be flexible, and he'll be flexible
Okay.
throughout in life as well. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? Again, if he's dealing like this with his wife, if this is how he's, I can't, how do I change? How do I, but that's what, so now, okay, I'll give you the example of the pandemic. Okay, we have 30 seconds remaining. Again, we're out of time. But
How do we
I'll
see
give
that?
you the example.
Okay.
It comes up to me. Okay, so I'll give you the
Okay.
example of the pandemic. Look what has happened. Lockdown happened, right? Now, people
Right.
who are not flexible
Have
failed.
Failed.
They
Yes,
failed in their
absolutely.
businesses.
Hmm.
So basically, what I was saying is just, she's right. His wife is right. If he is not, willing to be flexible, he's going to have that problem throughout with anything that he does in his life. So like I told you, like women have that ability to pick out the weakness when it comes to their man, because I mean, that's what they're very good at, and with men, we're very good at thinking. We're overthinkers.
Logical. Logical.
Women can be too, but yeah, very logical, very, 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 like to a fault, to a degree which doesn't help,
Right.
And I think that's a quality in women, personally, for me at least, that I find very attractive, is the ability to reel that the man back from his thoughts and get him back into his body and actually feeling
Right.
and thinking what's really going on right now,
Right.
And if he is not able to do that, if he is not able to be sensitive, then that's something that he has to work on, because if he is not going to be flexible, then eventually in the real world he will break.
Okay. I have one more question from Purvi Shah. So she's asking, how about knowing when to push for motivation versus when to end a relationship? You just said no that you need to pull him back and be there. So how do you differentiate between that this relation needs to work upon, or it's got toxic?
That's a very interesting question. I think one thing that I have realized is it's obviously it's a two-sided thing. There are two sides to this coin. I think if both parties are willing to fight it out, so whenever there is a threat, our human brains registers a flight or a fight response, and that's true for relationships as well. Either you stick it out and you fight, or you quit.
Right.
I think when it comes to a long-term partner, if that partner is willing to figure things out, work with you, fight it out for the relationship, even though it may not be perfect, I think that's something worth looking at,
Right.
And if and you can tell. I mean, it's not something that you need to sit down and have this conversation with. You can tell if if the person is not being as responsive, if the person is not putting in effort, the person is not fighting for this relationship anymore.
Right, and also I think there's somewhere self-worth involved in this. For me, if everything is falling in place, but he is not giving me the respect I want, or keeping my self-worth and respect intact, that would be a massive turn-off point for me. And then even if things are falling in place, I will not look it that way. I will think that no, he did not maintain my dignity. He did not maintain that respect that women, or as any individual. I'm not talking about only women. I am no different than a man. Every individual needs to be respected, no matter what. हाँ, out of fun तुमने मस्ती में कुछ किया वो अलग बात है, but out of when it comes to serious issues, we need to maintain each other's dignity, especially in front of people. There are bedroom fights that can get worse. That's your personal thing. But when it comes to socializing and there the dignity is not maintained or the confidentiality is not maintained, then I think that's the biggest turn off point for me. So for me, I
Yeah.
can come to know when the relationship is toxic, when things get public, things get social. Our flaws are seen outside us. So that's a big no-no for me. So
Yeah, I
that's
know you
my take
mentioned
on
that before.
relationship. Yeah, that's my take
Yeah,
on
yeah.
relationship, and that's how I keep a check on it. But thankfully, Jeet
No,
is
that's
amazing.
actually
So
very important.
yes, yes, absolutely. So moving on to the next question, how to prove that
Huh.
I'm loyal to my wife and I love her the most? So this is a okay. This is a question on trust. So how do you work on that?
Question on trust. That's a very interesting. So, I mean, personally, from a self-development point of view, again, so I'm again looking at this from a self-development point of view. And if the woman in the relationship is saying that, okay, you know what, I don't trust you, then maybe it's a good idea to see, are you being consistent? Are you being congruent? Are you being, are you acting with integrity in your life? And it doesn't have to necessarily be about the relationship.
Right.
It could be the fact that you talk to one person, like you talk to your boss very sweetly, but when the waiter comes, you are rude to the waiter.
Right.
You're not treating a human being as a human being. There's no integrity
right.
there. You are not being congruent to how you feel and who you are.
Absolutely.
So I feel that it could be, from a self-development point of view, that's an indication for the man to introspect and see where he isn't being congruent in his life, where he isn't, acting with integrity. And when he starts doing that, it will change his physiology. It will change his body. It will change the way that it will change the energy that he gives out. And his woman will start to trust him better. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, involving your women in things you do, making her feel important while discussing a decision before you take that decision will make her feel important, will make her feel wanted, and will make her feel necessary in the relationship. And she'll automatically start feeling that, okay, he asked me for this, he informed me about this, I am wanted, he wants me, and that will also help you grow trust on each other. Have faith and always stick to your promises, and that will help you, strengthen that beautiful bond of relationship.
Absolutely. I mean, being consistent, that's a part of that,
Yes.
being there, being dependable, that's a part of that as well. But also
Right.
why I hesitate, Ruchi, sometimes to just give blanket statements like be consistent and be there all the time, because sometimes that's not what you want. Like, think of it from a perspective of a woman, you want to make your man do whatever it is to make your man happy. Sometimes you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And if you were to express it, you would expect your man to understand. Am I right or wrong?
Right,
It
absolutely.
works the same way.
Right.
It works the same way. So as long as, there is a connection between the two people, as long as, you are honest with each other, and as long as you are congruent with the way that you feel and the way that you're thinking, right? And you behave in the same way, it doesn't really, you don't have to please her all the time. Like, sometimes you might make a promise, but then say, you know what, I can't do it.
Right.
She'll appreciate that.
Yes, yes, she will. And why this will happen? Because you have been consistent all the other time. So that is the reason she will
True.
understand this time, and she will not consider as
Sure.
either tera roast ka ho gaya. That will not come into
Exactly.
place because you have been taking your
Exactly.
baby steps very, very sincerely. That's the where it comes in. That being consistent is important.
A friend of mine, I think we discussed this last time also, but a friend of mine describes a relationship like a plant. You have to nurture it, you have to water it, you have to give it
Absolutely.
attention, you have to give it sunlight. You can't like just leave it alone, you know.
Right,
So of
right,
course that
right.
goes without saying. That goes without
right.
saying. But at the same time, when it comes to matters of trust, I think that it's a very good reflection of what's going on inside.
Right, right. And for that, you need to have your inner self sorted. And for that, you need to contact Jay Parekh because he will help you do that.
True.
Okay, so I think we have this last question, Jay. I will leave it up to you whether you want to answer this or not because it's absolutely technical and it's based on spirituality. Again, you said spirituality have different meanings, so I will leave it up to you. What is the difference between twin flame and soulmate, and how do you find that whether the person is your soulmate or not?
Okay. So I think this question, I'm going to answer it in a different way. You know, I'm going to answer it from a point of view of how do you know the person that you're with is the right person or not? Because you call it twin flame, you call it, soulmate. Personally,
Okay, so
from
I'll
my
just
perspective,
interrupt. So
yeah.
for those who don't know what is twin flame, so basically twin flame is not something from our Indian concept. It's not from Indian spirituality. It's a concept of Western world that Western people have developed over the time. Twin flame is that before being your physical self, your soul got divided into two parts and is wandering around the globe. And as soon as you come in contact with that person or the second half of your soul, you feel complete, you feel whole, you feel totality. It's like a mirror image to you. So it's like it gives you pain to change. That's what twin soul is for those who don't know what twin soul is. And for soulmate, I think Jay would continue. Jay, please continue with your answer. How do you feel that this person is the right or not?
Yeah, so I think that the main question to answer over here is this person right for you or not? You know,
Absolutely.
And I'm assuming that there's already something going on, right? I think so. There are I think three different ways that you can look at this. You know, on one level there is lust. You know, a physical chemistry. On another level, there is, a mental chemistry in terms of getting along really well and, being attracted intellectually to the person. But I think,
right.
When it's really special is that it is a different kind of connection. I know that this is going to sound really kind of woo-woo and kind of, up in the air. But I think it has to be, na, Ruchi, because to fall in love really, it's really difficult to put it in these nice, very clean compartments.
Cubicle
and,
words.
it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of messy. And when you're in love, I think it's a different kind of connection. It's a third kind of connection.
Right.
It's almost like, for lack of a better word, it's kind of, you could describe it as divine.
Right. It is.
It transcends both the physical as well as the mental. It is not even just physical and mental together. So I think
right.
if it's physical and mental together, that's also a great relationship to be in. I think that it's like falling in love with your friend who you have physical chemistry with. But I do feel that there is something beyond that as well.
Yes.
And that feeling when you get like, I really want to be with this person. You get magnetically attracted to this person.
Yes.
And it's just a beautiful
feeling. It's like
feeling.
your jigsaw puzzle has been completed.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not an expert on this, by the way. I don't claim to be. I'm just talking from like personal experience maybe, or people I've spoken to, and
right.
But I think it is a third thing, and you don't really know, Ruchi. I think that's the real thing. I think people want safety and security when it comes to relationships.
Yes. Yes.
But I think there is a fact, there is a truth that you can't really know for sure. There is no, like, this is going to be here tomorrow.
Right.
It may not. And some people might feel like, oh shit, that's horrible. Like how, how can I move forward, because the whole dread of loss kind of comes in, and how do I now build this relationship, because it might not be here tomorrow. Like, I'm saying worst case, like the best case scenario for any relationship is that one partner will eventually pass away and leave the other one alone. That's the best case scenario. Right? Life ends at one point. And for a lot of relationships, a vast majority of relationships will break up before any of that ever happens, before marriage or anything like that, Right? So there is no way of knowing for sure, but I think that's good. Because again, it goes for me, that goes back to living in the moment. You don't know whether this is going to be there tomorrow or not. Might as well enjoy it today. If you can be in that space with somebody, take it one day at a time, enjoy your relationship for what it is.
Right.
And I think if that person is capable of doing that with you, like despite that existential fear that tomorrow it might not be there, I think that's a good place to be. That's a good place to start.
Right, Jay. And see, when Cupid strikes its arrow, you just know it's right. You feel right. When I was from the arranged marriage setup, I'm just sharing a quick experience with you, Jay. So mine is not a love story.
I actually want to hear this, because that's very different, and like from what we've been talking about, and it's a different dynamic. So yeah, please, I want to hear this. This is cool.
So I'm not from this love marriage kind of story. I waited for this guy. I saw almost around 50 to 60 boys before meeting Jeet. And sometimes you come across guys, their family is perfect, they match your expectation, they are financially stable, looks wise they are good, they are looking good, we are looking good as a pair, but then you don't just feel that, okay, you cannot say yes to this guy. Why? You don't know, but you just can't say yes. And when I met Jeet, there were certain things that were not matching according to my expectation. I never wanted a businessman, and he was a businessman since 15 years. मतलब बोलते हैं ना कि चीजें नहीं match हो रही थी. But when I met that guy, he was so charismatic. He was having that aura. We were supposed to meet only for 15-20 minutes, and again our meeting went up to 1.5 hours. And we were just flowing through the conversation. I came out of that meeting. The first thing I felt was, wow, I think this is the guy I want to marry. I don't know anything about his family. I don't know anything about his background. I don't even know whether our horoscopes match or not, because I was a Manglik. I was a Manglik, so my mom and dad believed in this horoscope matching. I didn't know anything, but it just felt, that, no, this is the man who will take me as I am, and we will grow together in life. And it just happened. And 3 years into the relationship, I will not say this is an easy ride. I will not say that things went smoothly just because the Cupid did its work. For us to carry on the relationship so good, it's the investment of time and energy and effort that we both have been putting. It's not a one-man. To make a relationship work, it's not a one-person's job at all, because it's a two-way dynamics. Both of you have to equally contribute to a relationship to, work according to your requirements. And I think, touch wood, we have been blessed with that. We know our must-have commandments in place. We know where we are going wrong. We know each other's thought processes, and things are going good for us. So this is how it works. You will come to know when it's the right person. There is this subconscious. There is that feeling that comes in to your awareness, and that the person is the right person for you. It is just there. I'm just being so mushy sharing. I'm so sorry about it. Don't judge me sitting there like that. Okay, Ruchi's being too romantic. Ruchi's being too...
No. It's so cute. It is so cute, And there's hope for all of us single folk, out there. There's one question from the girl from the past. Yeah.
Yes. Does the effort also have to be unconditional without keeping that? Yes, of course it has to be unconditional. See, only condition that should be in your mind when you are doing anything for a relationship is that this relationship needs to be worked upon. I mean, मुझे ये रिश्ता चाहिए is the only thing you have to keep in your mind. And if both of you have the similar take, both of you will not have expectation from each other. यहाँ पे अगर सिर्फ मैं ये सोचूं कि मुझे ये रिश्ता चाहिए, मैं कर रही हूँ, मैं किए जा रही हूँ, what about you? Then there is a problem where, you know, the give and take and the calculation comes into picture. But if you both are into it, you both give it, then it is just, it comes as naturally as you it comes. मेरा बात करना कितना natural है, वो effort डालना उतना ही natural होगा. So yes, it has to be unconditional. You cannot be having conditions over there, except for one, that this relationship has to work. That's it. Thank you, Leena Thakkar.
It can't be like, you know, I'm doing something nice and now you do something nice for me. You know, it's not
Exactly.
it's not like it can't be like, as you said, a conditional thing that you do to want something. You know?
Exactly.
So I think that's a brilliant note, you know, to if there's anything else, by the way, that you want to talk about, Ruchi, or it's you know, we're way as usual past our regular time allotted.
Oh shit,
And I have
we are
another
10:40.
podcast recording. I have another podcast recording starting in 20 minutes. So I
Absolutely.
will have to, I'll have to go.
Yes.
But it was so amazing to have this conversation with you. Maybe,
Same here.
you know, we could do it more often, and I hope that the internet connection next time is better, so
better.
you know, people can actually hear us and be with us. I think a lot of what happened today was because the connection wasn't so clear. You know,
Yes.
we had a lot of technical hitches, and I really, everybody who stuck out so far, I am so like thankful and appreciate you guys so much. I love all of you guys for hanging out. So like, there are people who've been here for 1.5 hours with us, 1 hour 40
Yes.
minutes with us, Ruchi, as we tried to
Yes.
get this to work. We got cut off
Yes.
multiple times and we had to do it again. Let's start again. I really appreciate all of you guys.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's been wonderful.
Thank you
Thank you
so much,
Ruchi.
guys. Bye bye.